YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for April 7th through 13th. This week I read one book, I watched one show, and I listened to one book. Travel update of sorts. We are still in Strasbourg, but this week we took a day trip to Colmar, which was an adorable village. We saw many storks, which was lovely. It was a little bit early for the flower season they're known for, but we did see some flowers. And then yesterday we went around a bunch of Strasbourg we hadn't actually seen yet, which was absolutely beautiful. And it's really hot in Strasbourg at the moment. When I woke up, it was already 18 degrees, so I need to get this done pretty quickly so I can open the windows again because it's gonna get warm. Also, it's fairly humid here, which is why my hair hates me right now. The book that I read this week is Girls' Night. This one is pitched as Fight Club meets Mean Girls, and yeah, those are pretty good comp titles, I would say. This one actually comes out this week from Tiny Ghost Press, not Little Ghosts Press, because apparently those are two different publication places that you could get books from that are queer and, in this case, YA, but they're not the same thing. I definitely made that mistake on Wednesday when I was tagging the publisher, so I fixed that. This one is primarily about a group of 4 girls who, through circumstances, end up becoming friends and end up having this fight club that is all their own that eventually expands to way too many people. What I really enjoyed about this is we effortlessly seem to head hop between these 4 different characters and learn their backstories, kind of what makes them the type of person that wants to be in something like a fight club. And then also this is queer as hell, so you can see different characters having crushes on different people and what happens when there's this outside influence and whether or not she's actually good for this person who's kind of crushing on her and all of those types of things. This one got a little weird at points trying to figure out how much time had elapsed between like the start of this circumstances and the end, or even what was happening between different circumstances. And there were a bunch of gaps that I was just like, but why aren't they more worried about this thing over here and that type of thing? But overall, I really enjoyed it. The one show we watched this week was the first 5 episodes of the new Fallout show. I've never played the video games, but I've been around people who have, so basically what I knew was there are vaults, there's that guy with the suit and the thumbs up, and there's a lot of 50s music, and basically that's all I knew going into that, and that's fine. This one takes place about 219 years after an atomic blast happened sometime in the 1950s, and we start off with some people who are living in a vault, and then something happens that makes one of these people realize that she needs to leave the vault in order to save her father. Then we have other characters doing other character things and having other motivations, and then there's a bunch of overlap in what these characters need and want, and I'm interested to see where it's gonna go from here. Like I said, I have no reference point to tell you if this is anything like any of the video games whatsoever, besides it's very 50s nostalgic, but in the future wasteland. As for the audiobook I listened to this week, that was A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. This one is about a girl who is the youngest in her family. All of the people in her family work for the family business, which is a group of funeral homes, but she's always been kind of the wild child. Originally, her parents thought that they were going to finally have a boy, so she's actually named Richard Wilde II, even though she is in fact a girl, so she goes by Ricky Wilde. And unbeknownst to them, she's actually been studying botany, and she's one of the biggest plant influencers on Instagram with her wonderfully named account, Botany Flowers lately. She decides to strike out on her own and completely move state to live in New York and open up her own flower shop in Harlem. While she's there, she keeps bumping into this one guy who she seems to be magnetically drawn to, and it's kind of like, are you following me or am I following you? This guy is Ezra Walker, or as he used to be known, Breeze Walker. By all accounts and appearances, he is also 28 years old. However, he was born in 1900 and has been 28 for almost 100 years at this point, 96 years, I guess. It takes you a while to figure out exactly how this circumstance went down and how they find themselves both in the same place at the same time, so I'm not going to get into how that works. And as for the authenticity of kind of the practice behind that circumstance, I can't speak to that, but I can only hope that the author did at least a little bit of research about it. Not that I'm saying that I believe that people can just like live forever, because I'm not. But there's certain practices that in here that are real world that I hope were researched in order to use them for this book, if that makes any sense. This turns into a love story, but there is somewhat of a catch to it that it is fated to be very short-lived, and the characters kind of have to go from there and figure out what they're going to do with the short amount of time they have. This was passionate and impactful, and you really felt for the characters and certain things they've gone through, and there's other side characters that you get to know that I would also read books about. That would be great. So if you have a chance to pick this one up, I definitely recommend it. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. below on the way down to the comments. If you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you happen to be on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that, as always, is down below. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!